Made it through the video this far, you must be interested in what this app can do. So now it's time to get down to business. Today I'm going to go through the example on a Galaxy S4, which I think is probably pretty typical of a lot of the equipment that's out there today. We're going to select HandyDeliverItGPS free, although the full version sets up very much the same. Okay, the first thing that we have to do when we've opened the screen up for the first time is select a route. The only choice we have is to add a route because none have been created yet. Now we're going to take the information in the video for the example route that was shown. This one indicates the zip code is 12345. And of course this is a fake route and none of these addresses exist, but it's the same way you set up a real route. And we're going to put in all caps and no spaces, and you can use spaces, but you can't have symbols, periods, commas, number signs. We're going to call it RT2. We're going to say there are 15 stops we're going to put in, although this is information that should be on a printout that you have. And we're going to put in 5 turns. That'll be the full 20 steps that we're allowed to have. Scroll down, and we'll put in some notes for this route. We'll call it test route. And remember to save. Okay, so we're done with that part of the screen. If we look, we can see the data that we entered in. Okay, now we can go back up to the selection for the route, and you see a new route there. Okay, this is the route that we're going to select. Now, we haven't driven this route before, and there are no stops on it. So we need to set some up. The first thing that you have to do is start a new day if you haven't driven the route yet, and put your name in. We'll call ourselves Tester. And say OK. Now you can see the day is going to start whatever time it says your device thinks it is. You can't really fake it. It's going to be whatever time is shown on your phone at the time. All right, now if we want to add stops, we're going to go to drive route.
There are no steps in this route. You need to add some.
Okay, now you can hear the assistant reading to you that there are no steps in the route. That's obvious. We haven't put anything in. The first thing that you want to put in are all of your turns. You should have these on a list. If not, you obviously could do them out on the road as you got to the turns, but that's a lot more difficult and a lot more dangerous. So it's better to have a printout with all your turns accurately and put in as many as you can at an office or someplace like that. Okay. The first thing is the stop button or turn button alternates back and forth. Okay. If you're going to put in a turn, you want that to be green and say TRN. The next thing is you want to put your turn in all caps the way you want it read back to you. It should contain the whole street name and the direction that you're going to go on it. But for instance, if your printout says L or R for left or right, you might want to write the word out because it'll be spoken the way it's written. And I'd rather hear right than R. Okay, so let's type in the first one on the list, which is left on Cat Street. The next thing that I recommend putting in is where you'll turn next, because when it comes up on the screen, you'll see where you're going to be going to right away. Okay, and you're going to be going, again in caps, to Dog Road. And then the last piece down here, you can put in anything that you want as long as it's got only letters and spaces or numbers. But again, I'd recommend in caps to put the name of the road you're on during this segment. We're on Cat Street. Okay, everything's entered that we need to put a stop in. So we can say add. Okay, the next thing to do is move on to the next turn. And this one is going to be right on Dog Road. And we're going to go up to a turnaround point on Dog Road according to this route. So we're going to put retrace at, well, retrace Dog Road at 15. And we're still on Dog Road. Now that retrace point could be a mailbox, it could be a landmark like a tree or a church, but it's something to tell you it's time to turn around. Okay, we'll go ahead and add that stop. Now if we look down at the bottom of the screen, we can see now there are 2 stops, and we're at stop 2 of 2. Every time we go add, it's going to put the stop in after where you're at. So we're not done yet. We're going to do the retrace now. So we're doing the retrace of Dog Road at 15, and this time we're going to retrace it all the way down to Cat Street. And again, we're on Dog Road. Okay, now we're going to put in how we're going to turn onto Cat Street, which is listed as right on Cat Street. And this time it's to Bird Drive. And the street we're on is Cat Street. And then we'll add that. Okay. Now we're down to the final turn on the route, which is going to be left on Bird Drive. to, in this case, it's end. End of route. And we're on Bird Drive. Okay, all the addresses are added for the route. This is pretty much the minimum that you have to put in to get any value out of the app. If you have this amount in, you'll be allowed to complete the steps as you go, have the next turn read out to you, and not miss any turns. Let's go back. Okay, now if we look at our route and we go to New Day and start over, and go to drive the route, now there should be stops.
Turn left on Cat Street to Dog RD.
Okay, now when you get to this point and you're going out on a delivery, if you want only the stops to show or only the turns to show, which is all we have in, there's a checkbox down the bottom of the screen that says only show turns. This is, for instance, if you've put in every box you're going to stop at, they won't show. Only the turns will. And then that leaves you in between to handle things yourself. Okay, from this point, we can skip by pressing the skip button ahead to different spots on the route, or we can skip back. Holding the skip or the back button down for a second skips ahead by 10 steps. Now, we don't have 10 steps in, but if you have a long route, it's valuable to skip ahead more than one at a time. Now, what can you do from this point? You can complete the steps. Okay, if you hit the complete box,
Turn right on Dog RD, retrace Dog RD at 15.
it will read you the next step in the route. If you just skip, it won't read it. It'll just assume you're skipping ahead and looking at it. When you complete a step, it's going to mark it's completed. If we go back and look, now the box is green in the completed, which tells you you've already completed this step. In the full version, it's written a log to tell you what time you reached that point. There is another thing that you can do before you complete. We'll look at the next step here. First, we can enable the GPS. Once the GPS is enabled, it'll begin searching for your location. When it's found the location, the searching indicator in the center on the top should turn green. Once it has turned green, now I'm not sure it's going to get a bearing based on where I'm sitting now, but once it has turned green, the Store Now button on the right on the top would store the exact location of this turn or stop in memory so that you have a pinpointed location for where this is from now on. Let's go back and see what else we can do. All right, we're going to start a new day again. And we're going to go to the route.
Turn left on Cat Street to Dog RD.
And this time we're going to put in every stop on the route. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is we want to put the stops on between left on Cat Street and right on Dog Road. And if you go back and look at the route listing in the example video, you'll see there's boxes there for 2, 4, 6, and 8 on Cat Street. So we want to be at the point that we've just turned left on Cat Street, which we're at. Go ahead and hit the button to change it to stop rather than turn, and start typing in the boxes. Now, it leaves the old information there because a lot of times it's similar. So we're going to go to Cat Street. And we don't have any notes or any second part of the address to this. So that's it. We're just going to add it. And you can see you get a confirmation the address is added. If you forget that you've added it, try adding it again. It'll say it's already added. If it turns out you didn't want to add it, obviously you could click the delete button. If you make a mistake, we'll go through that next. Our next address is shown as 4 Cat Street. I'm going to put in 5 and add it. Now I've made a mistake and it's added it. The way you correct a mistake is go to the add button and hold it down for a second and hit change. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and change it. Back to 4, hold it down for a second, change. You get the address was changed confirmation. Okay, so now we have 2 and 4 Cat Street in. We need to put 6 Cat Street in and 8 Cat Street in. And 8 Cat Street, I have notes that say they have a mean dog. So I'll put that in the notes. Okay, now that's it for Cat Street. So what we want to do is skip ahead in the route to right on Dog Road and go ahead and put in the dog mailboxes. Again, change it to stop. And let's start in putting in the dogs. We have 11 Dog Road. And no notes, nothing else, add. We have 13 Dog Road, add. We have 15 Dog Road, add. Now, we know that at 15 Dog Road, there's a turnaround. So we're going to go ahead and place the next boxes after that. So again, turn it back to stop. And let's start putting in the others. So we have 14 Dog Road. We have 12 Dog Road. And we have 10 Dog Road. And that's it for Dog Road. Skip ahead. We're going to turn on Cat Street. Let's go ahead and put the boxes on Cat Street in. First one looks like 10 Cat Street. And then we have 12 Cat Street. And then this is a little tricky, and this happens. Some of these boxes are not Cat Street addresses, but they're actually on Cat Street. We'll go ahead and put them in now. 100A South Bird Drive. And we'll put a note to ourselves that these are actually on Cat Street. And add it. And then we have 100B. On Cat Street. And that's it for Cat Street. Now we're going to go left on Bird Drive and put in the remaining Bird Drive box. And we have 102 South Bird Drive. And in this case, we have apartment 2. And we're going to put a note to ourselves where that apartment is, because sometimes they're hard to find in case there's a package that has to be delivered. Okay, so now if we look, we have all 20 steps that were allowed in the free version entered in. So we can go back, do a new day again, and drive the route.
Turn left on Cat Street to Dog RD.
Okay, this time I'm going to uncheck the box and go through the route just like it would be.
Stop at 2 Cat Street. Stop at 4 Cat Street. Stop at 6 Cat Street. Stop at 8 Cat Street. Turn right on Dog RD. Retrace Dog RD at 15. Stop at 11 Dog RD. Stop at 13 Dog RD. Stop at 15 Dog RD.
So you can get the example of what's happening here. Now we could be capturing each of the GPS addresses as we go along. We could capture some one time, capture some another time. Or if we put down only show turns and complete.
Turn retrace dog RD at 15 to Cat Street.
It's just going to go to where the next turn is and not give you a chance to hit any of the boxes.
Turn right on Cat Street to Bird Drive.
So you see it's skipping all the points in between.
Turn left on Bird Drive to end of route.
Okay, so
stop at 100 to S Bird Drive App 2.
It will give you the last part of the route before it says it's completed if there's a stop after the last turn. But we've got the route completed message. So we're finished. The completed box is green. That's it. Okay, so that's how you would set up a route and drive through it. Maybe we should go through some of the added features too. Let's create a new day again. And instead of going to drive route, let's look at the casing menu. Okay, in this menu here, especially if you have the addresses all typed in like we do, leave the use whole address checked at the top. If you don't and you only have your turns in, it'll show you where the road is in relation to the route, but you're not going to get a box by box description of where anything is. All right, let's say we have a package to deliver at an address, and we're going to deliver it at 12 Cat Street. Find the address. Start typing in the search bar, and you'll see it narrows down the choices pretty well, pretty quick. So you see 12 Cat Street showing. And the dashes indicate that it's stop number 12 and that there's step number 17 in the route. So there's a few turns, but it's stop number 12. That's the one we want to take. So we're going to pick that. Now, if we look here, if we were to go enter these all in, it would tell us which case it was in and what row. A lot of times it's a lot of effort to enter that information in, and we don't have it entered in. But what we do want to do is mark this, that there's something that we need to do. So you see a menu come up where we can back out and cancel, or we could say we have an accountable or a parcel. Let's pick there's a parcel. Description of the parcel. This one is perishable. And enter the quantity of them that we have. We're going to say it's 1. And enter. Now you can see on the screen that if you were laying out a sequence of parcels you had to deliver, this would belong at sequence number 1 because it's the first one. It's going to go by stop order. So if it's 50 stops in, it'll tell you to put it after package number 5 or 6 or wherever it's going to fall on the route. You also get an indication how many have already been entered for this address and how many you've entered total. Don't forget to save. If you don't save, it won't be remembered. Okay, now let's go back and drive the route. Don't do a new day this time because a new day clears out all parcels you have entered against the route. We're going to go drive the route.
Turn left on Cat Street to Dog RD.
And I'm going to look at every box and wait and see what happens.
Stop at 2 Cat Street. Stop at 4 Cat Street. Stop at 6 Cat Street. Stop at 8 Cat Street. Turn right on Dog RD. Retrace Dog RD at 15. Stop at 11 Dog RD. Stop at 13 Dog RD. Stop at 15 Dog RD. Turn retrace Dog RD at 15 to Cat Street. Stop at 14 Dog RD. Stop at 12 Dog RD. Stop at 10 Dog RD. Turn right on Cat Street to Bird Drive. Stop at 10 Cat Street. Stop at 12 Cat Street.
Now, you can see when we reach 12 Cat Street where we marked there was something that we needed to do, that now we have a red warning and a message that popped up on the screen. Okay, this indicates there's something that has to be done at that address, and if we click the Parcels and Accountables button, you'll see a list. Delivery items, 12 Cat Street, quantity 1, type perishable. You'll get a different message if it's an accountable, and this is going to assume you're going to sort your accountables and your parcels separately. But this should be the next item that you have if you've come to this first, just like putting a marker in for it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cancel because we're not going to say we delivered it. Now, if we say we delivered it, it'll be marked in the log as being delivered in the full version. We're just going to complete
Stop at 100 amperes S Bird Drive. Stop at 100 BS Bird Drive. Turn left on Bird Drive to end of route. Stop at 102S Bird Drive App 2.
Okay, we've completed the route. So I hope this gives a pretty good example of the power of this. Of course, with the full version, it will generate the logs, and you can put as many routes in as your phone's memory will hold. And I believe, as I said on the website, it takes approximately 100 routes to be the size of one MP3 song. So you don't have to worry about it filling your memory. You do, of course, have to make sure there is memory available or storage space on your phone. I hope this gives a good example for a tutorial and that you'll find the app useful. It's an ongoing development, so I'll probably add features later, but this is where it sits now. Thank you.